back to Dreamhack Summer 2011. And guess what match we're about to do?
I don't know.
It's MC versus Sen. That is right. One of the highlight matches of the day will be starting at 1600 sharp. The players are setting up right now. But we have the results from groups A and B that have played out completely this morning. I know that you have some of the specifics of the results that ended up happening, and there were a lot of big surprises.
Well, two groups now have finished, Group A and B. Group A, we have Naniwa first place, 5-0, going through quite easily. Second place in that group is Rhett. There was a two-way tie between Rhett and Strelok, and because of the results-wise, Rhett did actually take down Strelok 2-0, so will advance second in that group. And
so, of course, I'm sure everyone's happy that Naniwa and Rhett are advancing, right? They're so well-trained.
I know.
That's great. Well, I mean, Naniwa's from Sweden. A lot of people here from Sweden, so.
And Group B, first place, surprisingly, Braddock 4-1 in his group, and second place, Soke also 4-1.
Wow.
And a couple of shock results there, really, because I think a lot of people would have invested money in Demaga and Morrow advancing in that group. But nope, that's not how it works out here at Dreamhack. And interesting results.
Morrow surprisingly going 2 and 3 in that group. Demaga was one slot out of second place with the 3 and 2 results, so I'm a little bit surprised. At that, especially the 2-3 from Morrow. I mean, he's been performing so well in every tournament he touches, but this morning was just really looking like not the Morrow that we've seen in those other matches.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were expecting Morrow to do a lot better, and especially because there's only really, I mean, his weakness obviously is playing at Zerg, having only practiced Terran versus Zerg for the previous week, but I mean, other losses too. I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed in Morrow. And plus, the way we saw him play today, I think he's going to be disappointed himself for not really advancing in that group. But nevertheless, very excited for Soke to go through. And also Braddock as well. Braddock finally being able to come over to compete in the Dreamhack event. So excited for him to go into the next stages of this tournament.
Yeah, Tyler, again, going 1 and 4, has not really been able to quite put up those compelling tournament results that we've seen in the past. The only player he was able to defeat, I understand, was Moman. So Tyler and Moman were 1 and 4 in the group. And we do see that Jimpo, who's, again, one of the newer players on the scene, 2 and 3. And Straylock just barely out of range at that 3 and 2. But again, goes to show you the caliber of play that's at this tournament, because Straylock 8 and 1 in his NASL group, which is hard to do, one of the hardest groups in NASL. But I mean, if you're in a group with Rhett and Naniwa, what else can you do? Both of them just been performing so incredibly well.
Naniwa is so good. I'm so excited to actually see him travel down to Korea and compete in that GSL. He will be leaving soon for that, but first he has to try and win this tournament here in Sweden. And obviously, like we said, we are going into one of the best games of today, perhaps.
Now, I'm going to tell you a secret. We were supposed to start at 1600, right? We're supposed to start in, let's see, 10 minutes from now. We went early because we didn't want people at home just sitting there waiting with nothing going on. And we were expecting the matches to end up getting started on time at 1600 because the players have been playing all morning, wanted a full break. But oGs MC has just invited us to the game. So we might be starting just a little bit earlier, just saying it's a secret. Don't tell anyone. So it looks like I now am finally getting invited, so that is great news. And the first map, interestingly, going to be Metalopolis.
We've seen that a lot, really, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most commonly played maps in tournaments. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen as much Zelnaga Caverns, as that is perhaps the most popular map that people are playing nowadays. But what's interesting to me about this map is both Sen and oGs MC love this map. Which seems counterintuitive, because generally you'd expect players to want to play a map that favors their race, that has some sort of style, that attunes well to it. But both these players are well known for being incredibly good. So I'm very excited to see what they have prepared.
I'm excited to see Sen. I mean, because he plays in Asia so often, you don't really get to see him compete, especially because of time zone differences and so on. Especially if you've been in Europe, it's very difficult to see that. So I'm happy to actually be able to see this guy. And I can't actually wait to go meet him as well.
Oh, yeah.
Never met him before, so I'm excited to do that. And to have him play against MC is insane. It's MC. It's a 2 times GSL champion. Dreamhack Invitational champion. What hasn't this guy won?
Yeah,
it's insane.
I mean, the only tournament that MC hasn't ended up winning is the recent MLG event, but the player who was able to knock him out was Lucira, extremely talented Zerg player, so we have seen that OGS MC has some weaknesses to Zerg, but at the same time, OGS MC is the most resilient Protoss I have ever seen. Virtually any cheese, any all-in that's thrown at him, he has a way to hold it off with any opening that I have seen him use. Extremely impressive play.
And that's most definitely what MC's probably practiced coming into this, because every time we see MC play and somebody tries to cheese him, and he has such a strong defense against early aggression that it's not going to be really viable, despite Sen being such an aggressive player. On the same time, Sen is very smart, very tactical, and is all about position, so I'm really looking forward to see if he can utilize those strengths in this matchup.
Now, I will say something that I've said many times before. I am a commentator second and a fanboy first, and these players have just said that they are ready. So ladies and gentlemen, make a cheer. We are starting game one between oGs MC and Fnatic MSI Sen. I know you are pumped because we up at the front are pumped. Oh my gosh, it's getting loaded. Do you have any predictions going into this game?
This is actually so hard to call, but I'm going to have to give it to MC. I'm sorry, Sen, as much as I love you, but I feel that MC is just so superior right now.
Well, there he is at the bottom. We have the Protoss player who claims he will win every tournament outside Korea that he enters. We have oGs MC! And some boos from the crowd. The Swedes showing their intentions up at the top position. Feel free to cheer for the Taiwanese superstar, Fnatic MSI Sen! And interestingly, no boos doth floweth from their mouths, Apollo. We do have a cross-map position. MC opening up the match by building a pylon at the top of his ramp. We also now see that there's an extractor trick from Sen in his main.
That's interesting. I mean, thinking about 9 Overlord and 10 Overlord, in Asia you always see 10 Overlord with extractor trick, whereas in North America and Europe it's always 9 Overlord. It's interesting to see those styles, and I kind of feel that 9 Overlords is kind of superior, so it's interesting that. I guess it really doesn't make too much difference that early on in the game. And now we see MC is going to be putting down that gateway on 12, which is kind of early, especially in this matchup, so we'll have to see how he develops that from here. And he is going to go ahead and get the scanning information. We see that Sen decides to go spawning pool first, before Hatchery and before Extractor.
You know, a lot of Zergs say that even if it seems like you can get away with an early expansion in this matchup, cannon rushes are so powerful, even if they're delayed, that it's just not worth it. You have to build that pool first early on. It looks like Sen's sending his drone out early as well to try to pick away at this probe. If he can do enough damage to that one single probe, then he can potentially not get blocked by a pylon, but we see MC, his money's drifting close to 100. Will he plant that pylon? And there's the 300, so now the hatch can go down, and he does get it down.
That's really interesting. Usually you shouldn't be able to get a hatchery down with a probe there all the time. So that's really nice by Sen to get that down, and only building one set of lings as well. I mean, he's just getting 2. Usually we always see Zerg players getting that 4, both for the Zelnog towers and also to pop up down the ramp and to scout that mineral line over his opponent, but he just opts to get 2, gets that extra drone in nice and early. So we're seeing little shortcuts already in this game by Sen.
Yep, there are the 2 Zerglings already going, picking off that probe. Such a strong way to open up in general. We do see the gas geyser has gone down from Sen. Almost always you will see a very fast Zergling speed come forth. Very, very standard response. oGs MC waiting until his cybernetics core finishes to actually build anything. Going to favor that Stalker first. Ever since there has been that change to the warp gate where it is 160 seconds instead of 140, we've seen players opt to not build that first Zealot.
Oh my god, actually a Ling gets in there. It's actually trapped. Oh, it gets through.
Well,
I believe that.
I mean, this is actually one of the reasons why players get the Stalker out early. If a Scout does make it in early on, you can easily pick it off with the speed and range of the Stalker. But we've seen Stalker first before Zealot, very common. Now that that warp gate is a little bit longer, all the typical builds still work just as well. We now see that the Queen is almost done in the main. The natural is now finished. Sen going to wait just a second to make sure that his larva adds line up at his natural and main.
And this Ling is going to come into the natural, tries to get some scanning information, is picked off by the Stalker, and it looks like MC is going to bravely go ahead and go 1 gate expo here. And that is brave because a lot of, well, I guess Sen plays a different style, but a lot of European Zerg players will definitely try to capitalize on this and pressure with a bunch of Zerglings. But no, Sen is going to add on that Roach Warren now, and it looks like MC will be able to successfully get up this expansion, but will Sen be going for an aggressive Roach lane play here, Sean?
I definitely think that that is what Sen has in store. This has become one of the most common and most strong early pushes. You expand, you produce a good amount of drones, but you don't take those drones off mining gas early on. This allows you to throw down a Roach Warren, build 7 to 8 roaches, and rally Zerglings with speed, and you can generally bust an expansion unless your opponent has perfect defense. The big trick to this play is that you need to pull these drones off gas once you begin to make the push. And there are 5 roaches coming off right now, and Sen, per usual, being very, very adamant about adding on those extra larvae. But keep in mind, MC did defend this exact all-in 3 different times.
And a Stargate has been put down now, which is going to help defend this, especially because the Roaches are going to take a long time to go ahead and get down there, and he has a bunch of Chrono Boost saved up. Look at the main Nexus of MC, has so much Chrono Boost saved up. Using 1 on the Nexus, now using 2 on the natural Nexus. That's going to be really interesting, and the probes are going to come here, do a little bit of harassment, but will MC be able to hold this? Roaches now are on the way down, and this is going to be quite close here, Day 9.
And it looks like, once again, Sen going right back to drone production. This is what has made him such a superstar player. He is at 60 of 60 food.
It's not so good. I mean, he's got a lot of idle lava now because they're getting supply block there. And he's going to go ahead and get a 3rd base from here. So it's just going to be a little bit of pressure, not really going all in with this.
But it looks like Sen is going to be able to do some damage. This play is so potent. Oh, look at the great force field blocking off those Zerglings. We see MC has successfully repelled it. But again, Sen playing the one-upping game, hoping to make his opponent overcompensate early on, so that way he can make even more drones and get his 3rd base up very quickly.
The problem is if MC actually identifies that this rush is over, doesn't reveal that he has a Void Ray, and goes immediately for this 3rd base, and follows it up with Phoenixes, he could definitely deny this 3rd base, force a cancellation on it, but is actually just going to go ahead and scout, and he's going to go straight for the Xel'Naga Towers first of all, and hopefully that will give Sen enough time to connect this base, the 3rd base from his natural, and we'll be able to defend that with Queens. He's now getting on that Evo chamber added on, and we'll be able to build a couple of Spore Crawls to helpfully defend that 3rd base.
Great use of this Void Ray by MC. Is taking out these Zerglings, but this can potentially be a little bit of a backfire, a little bit of a curse of those really good players. MC is anticipating his opponent to have appropriate defenses, so he's using this Void Ray to just do little bits of guaranteed damage. Just try to pick off the Zerglings at the Watchtower. Now he's moving towards the 3rd. It is just finished, but will he be able to get those Queens over there in time? They're slowly making their way over, and it looks like MC, again, just trying to go for the guaranteed damage. The Overlords, the drones now beginning to work their way in, but these 2 Queens seem like they might arrive barely in time.
Yeah, they're going to be able to repel this Void Ray for sure. Even a Spore Curl being added on, it looks like that 3rd base is going to be quite safe from any Void Ray harassment.
Great
and now we kind of have to see how MC is going to follow this up. He can't really continue with building any more Void Rays. He's adding on a few more Phoenixes to this, while getting also a +1 attack now just starting. We'll want to be looking to get that 3rd base rather shortly, but we do have a Ling there. We'll be able to scout out when MC is trying to get this base up.
And there, it looks like MC's going to do the cleanup, but we do see, oh, the Zerglings do spot the 3 Void Rays. That's going to be a huge benefit for Sen, who does have the 2 Queens and the 1 Spore Crawler, but he might need a little bit more. We see the Phoenix arriving, lifting up the supporting Queen. Queen on the ground gets taken out. Queen in the air in a lot of trouble.
And Queens are coming to back this up to try to help out. The Spore Crawler taking a ton of damage. He's actually going to go down here. And this is not looking at all. Sen very naked. 3rd base here. Spore Crawler not going to complete by no means. And just 1 Queen here being lifted up as well.
MC, the master of the air openings, moving in with Void Rays. Phoenix is taking everything out. Roach is now popping up, getting eliminated. That 3rd base is also going down for MC.
Ooh, he's got that 3rd base down. Hydralisks are about to pop out though. And Chrono boosted Phoenixes are coming to try to help out. A couple of Phoenixes here, 3, 4 in total. This is going to get very close if he can try to survive on. Going to target the Hydra straight away.
Oh, and it looks like he manages to do a little bit of damage, but the Hydras are still continuing to rally in. If Sen can defend this, that would be a miracle. He picks off 1 Void Ray. He picks off a 2nd. He might be able to take down the 3rd. He's target firing the Queen, and he does not take it out. So it looks like Sen will be able to keep his third base up, but we see the roach pressure that Sen attempted was not successful. MC, it was all a big, elaborate distraction to establish a third base, and what a distraction it was. Sen almost lost his expansion and is losing a couple free Hydras.
And looking at the unit tab now, look at the work count for both of these players. So high, so fast, despite all this aggression from both players. 70 drones, 71 drones versus 66 probes now. So fast in this game. And we have the standard wall off for MC here, along with a cannon to prevent any form of harassment coming from this way while getting that third base up and running. And in the meantime, we do have this robotics facility about to be added on. And I suppose we'll be seeing a robotics base shortly added after that.
I'm really interested in these 2 extra macro hatches set up by Sen. Right now, we do see that Sen has gotten the +1 armor before the +1 melee upgrade. Interestingly, this means that the Zealots are suddenly not effective against Zerglings anymore. If you can have equal armor upgrades to the Protoss's attack upgrades, it still takes 3 hits to kill a Zergling with a Zealot. So that does mean that Sen's going to be in a little bit stronger of a defensive position. We have 2 Spires.
2 Spires going up now. This
has
insane.
To be a mistake by Sen.
Yeah.
Yep, cancels 1 Spire. Looked at his own production tab to fix that. Whoa! And a Queen gets lifted and taken out. But man, MC is seeing these extra hatches, realizing what is going on. Going to try to lift a couple drones, do some damage. Another Spore Crawler trying to go down, but those few Hydras from Sen do repel successfully.
Not very often do we see this, but we actually see MC with the worker lead, or shortly had the worker lead, with 76. Now versus 79, as 6 more drones did just manage to pop out, but that is so high. 13 Mutalisks in production now, and we're going to see some Muta-Link style, which we saw a little bit earlier, but I'm really interested to see how Sen is going to be able to pull this out. He does have +1 carapace for the roaches and lings, and +1 melee attack just now finished for these lings also.
Now this is an interesting moment in gameplay. We're seeing lots of Mutalisks get made by Sen. Very unusual, especially when you see that many Phoenixes on the field, but keep in mind, Sen has all these extra hatcheries. We may see a counter-attack style from Sen. Just Mutas, just Zerglings, only the fastest, best at counterattacking units in Zerg's arsenal will be made by Sen. We see those Zerglings getting made. We see the Zergling level 2 attack going down, as well as a Baneling nest.
And in come the Mutalisks. There is no defense at all inside this base. Warp gates can warp in a few Stalkers here to help defend against this, but there we go, straight picking up.
Oh!
Wow. Woohoo! 3 Stalkers go down instantly, and now straight into the worker line, and that is a lot of damage being done, but the reinforcements are coming in now, Sean.
And we're seeing now great control there by Sen as he tries to pick off these Phoenixes. Does manage to get 2, but with the Stalkers there as well, we're going to have to see a full-on retreat. And does Zerg know about this gold? Absolutely has those 2 watchtowers. Is not giving up with this aggression yet. Look at the 2 armor and 2 carapace going down. The Gravatic Drive, wow, interestingly, the speed upgrade for Warp Prisms going down. And here's the huge counterattack by Sen. Has everything distracted at the back, taking out that center expansion.
Ooh, that goes down, and that's really nice. And now this pile-on harassment is continuing. These Mutalisks are going to be able to take this down as well. And if you look at actually the ground army of MC is so small compared to Sen, who's about to move in.
He's going to have some perfect force fields, and there's the slice. Wow. And MC doesn't even retreat. He marches right on forward and says, free units. Cutting those roaches up, morphing in more Stalkers from above, lifting them up as he pleases. And MC decimates Sen's army.
And he's going to continue with Blink Stalkers to kill the rest of these roaches. They are going to go down. They might as well turn around and attack. Actually, just get back and creep and go and be able to survive. Look at the unit tab now. We have 10 Mutalisks still doing a lot of damage in the main, but a couple of cannons here are going to be able to defend that. We look at the food count now. 187 versus 188. So close right now. And Sen needs to start mining from this 4th base ASAP. He needs to get into that gas. He has so many minerals, he can't spend that gas wisely here.
And I think people are going to be excited about this. We see at the robotics facility a Warp Prism in production. That means he will be likely doing some harassment if he doesn't win with this attack right here. This is a gigantic force of Blink Stalkers with the +2 attack. Sen swinging in with a lot of roaches, though. But look at those force fields. Sen getting cut apart.
Those force fields are actually perfect, and they were so fast as well. He just puts them down so instantly, and now Sen just does not have the counter at the moment. A lot of units are in production here to come and reinforce, but I think that MC is going to be able to do a lot of damage here.
And there's the good game.
GG.
MC with an extremely convincing game one. I mean, had an answer for everything. I mean, it was remarkable when those Mutalisks popped in for the first time, even with 0 defense. He was more than comfortable losing virtually no probes, getting the Phoenixes back there to defend, and then sending his Stalkers. And then right when we thought Sen was going to surround all of those sentries, Colossi perfectly, MC just embraced all these beautifully placed units, cut them in half with force fields.
And those force fields, I mean, people go on and on about how MC has the perfect force fields, once again displaying why people talk about that. And they were insane split-second force fields going down, no overlapping force fields either, just precisely accurate force fields. And we've got invites for the second game, and surprisingly, Sen has chosen Shakuras Plateau for this game.
Yeah, Shakuras Plateau, very, very rough map for Zerg against Protoss, specifically for the very early stages of the game, because it's virtually impossible to have any sort of pressure on that second base. But the real struggle for oGs MC is how will he secure a third? Lucira absolutely picked MC apart on this map by establishing so many expos so quickly.